Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Benromach 10. Now this is a special episode because this is a Patreon pool episode, which means that anybody who supports me at $5 or more on Patreon gets a quarterly option to suggest a whiskey for me to try. And I end up picking one of these randomly, anything under $100, and this is what got chosen this time. So the Benromach 10. Now, let's talk about the distillery. The Benromach distillery is a very common story. In 1898, it opened, ran successfully for a number of years, and then closed. And then in 1993, it was reopened by Gordon and Macphail. And they spent a few years kind of getting the distillery up to snuff and up to code, and allowing it to be run by a single person. They figured that was a good way to cut costs. And it took them a few years. In 1998, 100 years after the initial opening, they reopened. And they produced whiskey for a while. And in 2004, they finally started selling it. Now, 10 years after that, they actually won Best Speyside Whiskey 12 years and under at the World Whiskey Awards. So, pretty good little story there. Not a whole lot of, drama, but a good kind of resurgence, or whatever you want to call it. Either way, it's a good whiskey, or supposedly anyway. I have had a little bit of this. I've heard it gets better as it ages, and I don't dislike it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So this bottle is aged for 9 years, and it's aged in 80% ex-bourbon barrels and 20% ex-Oloroso sherry casks. They married those together for about a year in European Oloroso sherry casks, and they let it sit for a year. Then they sell this. This is 10 years. Okay, now the sherry comes from the Bodegas Williams and Humbert. I'm sorry, I keep looking at my notes. There's a lot to remember here. And the bourbon barrels come from Heaven Hill and Jim Beam. And the whole point of this whiskey is, in the past, people would put peat onto normal fires, just wood fires. And I know you guys know about like peated whiskeys, right? But this is like really long time ago. It was more of a resource than it was a gimmick or a style of whiskey. It was, hey, we're running out of wood, throw some peat on there. And because of that, you would end up with slightly peated whiskeys. And specifically Speyside isn't really known for that. There's only a couple of people who even do this, and usually that's more of an expression of their mainline thing. For example, Glen Moray has a peated whiskey. This is just the way they do things. So let's go ahead and get to the nosing and the tasting. All right. Also, on an odd note, I saw that this whiskey actually offers an organic version, which I don't think I've ever seen an specifically organic whiskey. I think it's the 10-year as well. I almost bought that instead when I couldn't find this originally. So, all right, let's go ahead and give this a nose. It's a pretty good color on that, actually. All right, so you get kind of like a vanilla, lemon cake, grassy, little caramelized. Maybe that's more where the cake's coming from. It's like a caramelized sugar, kind of lends itself to that sweetness of the lemon. Kind of made me think lemon cakes, plus I had some a few days ago and maybe I have it on the brain. But, okay, so almost a little bit of there's like a flat note there. I'm trying to think if this is really what I'm thinking, because I've never gotten this before, but almost like a mushroomy smell. Like Baby Bella mushrooms. Whatever, smell them the next time you have them. There is a distinctive smell to it. All right, let's go ahead and give it a taste. Cheers. Very tasty, very tasty. So it's got kind of a bit of a sting to it. Now this is, what is it, 43? Yeah, 43% ABV. It's got a little bit of a sting to it. More so than you'd expect from a 43. But that fades very quickly. It's got a creaminess to it that is nice. And it's got some of those ex-bourbon notes, which makes sense at 80% bourbon barrels. So you get like caramel and vanilla. And then, let's see. A little bit of lemon. And then let me take another sip here. The reason I'm questioning myself is this spends a decent amount of time in sherry casks, and I'm not really getting any sherry notes on the taste. I am getting a little bit of that peat actually, which I did not pick up on the nose, but I definitely get in the taste. I guess I'm a little disappointed that I'm not getting sherry. if you guys have tried this and you get sherry notes out of the taste, specifically the taste, let me know. You get a little bit in the nose maybe, but nothing really in the taste. Anyway, it's good. It's pretty good. It's not fantastic. I guess in a way, how do I want to say this? It's a good whiskey if you have it. I don't know that it's worth buying. I think it's about $35. I could be wrong. It's under 40 either way. It's tasty, but it's nothing that, like, I'm not gonna buy this again. I'm only kind of just now coming to this because I actually had something different written, because I guess the last time I had this I thought a little higher of it, but maybe it's had like a week or two to breathe at this point, and I'm not thrilled by it. I'm not let down. It's just nothing special, I guess. So anyway, I like it. I would certainly drink it, and I will drink this whole bottle. I often give away bottles, but I will not give this one away, but I wouldn't buy it again. So I guess I'd give it a try it, although I think that you're not likely to run into it being given away as a sample. So thank you everybody for joining me here on this Whiskey Dictionary episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.